Welcome everybody to the 7th webinar of the series. I am Balázs from the CatCart division of ThalesNano, and I'm going to keep the second part of this webinar about the catalyst cartridges, which can be used for various heterogeneous flow chemical applications. Let's go through the plan of this presentation. First, I will give you a short introduction about ThalesNano, then I will talk about the continuous flow heterogeneous catalysis. I will introduce the CatCarts, its advantages, and build up from the smallest to the largest one. I will show some catalyst loadings provided by ThalesNano and few opportunities for catalyst selection. I would like to introduce also services which will open the door for application of new type heterogeneous catalysts in continuous flow. Our webinar series started on March 2020. First, we dealt with the smallest hydrogenation reactor of ThalesNano, the H-Mini Plus. After that, we introduced the H Pro. After the PhotoCube section, we kept our first CatCart webinar. We also presented our brand new scale-up platform, the Phoenix h-genie. And the last part of the series dealt with the gas module. You will see CatCarts related to almost the whole instruments, therefore we highly recommend to look over the previous webinars. ThalesNano was founded in 2002 in Budapest, Hungary. We are dealing with design and manufacturing of flow chemical instruments. We are on the market for 17 years and sold more than 1,400 instruments in 80 countries. The number of ThalesNano-related peer-reviewed articles are about 700, and in the last year we won second time the R&D 100 award, which is the so-called Oscar of Innovation. So basically we are dealing with flow chemistry. In the previous webinars my colleagues detailed the advantages of flow. Today I would like to focus on the heterogeneous flow catalysis. In the case of heterogeneous catalysis, the catalyst phase differs from the reactant or the product. In batch conditions, the catalyst and the reaction mixture are in the same path, which need to be separated after the reaction. In flow conditions, the catalyst immobilized and the reaction mixture continuously flows through the reactor. This method makes the reaction standardizable, enhance the mass transfer, which leads to higher activity, minimize the inhibition of the active sites of the catalyst, no need catalyst separation steps, and provide continuous production. There are four major types of lab-scale heterogeneous flow catalytic reactors. Capillary reactors have high aspect ratio, which enabling fast reactant mixing and high activity. However, the catalyst immobilization is challenging in this case, especially in the powder forms. This issue could cause a significant pressure drop or clogging the whole system. Honeycomb reactors made up of an inert support with millimeter-sized cavities covered by catalytically active layer. It's a favored catalyst formulation method in the chemical industry, but in lab scale may lead to smaller mass transfer and the catalyst preparation is extremely time-consuming. Monolith-type catalyst loads are very popular nowadays. These are homogeneous microstructures, provide low pressure drop, high contacting efficiency with narrow residence time distribution. Unfortunately, preparation of this catalyst is very challenging and needs multidisciplinary skills also. Last but not least, we can talk about the most popular reactor type, the so-called packed bag systems. It is simple to handle and easy to operate. The challenge in this case is to avoid the high pressure drop and the catalyst filtration. And here we are at the CatCarts. Name of CatCart is an abbreviation of catalyst and cartridge. CatCart is the patented packed bag catalyst cartridge of ThalesNano, which is on the market for 15 years. It has a robust stainless steel design where the catalyst kept isolated in the cartridge and makes possible to handle even pyrophoric compound safely. CatCarts are more than simple cartridge. They manufactured according to ISO 9001 quality management system, where we always analyze the whole components of the cartridges and underwent the loaded CatCarts both for physical and chemical tests. CatCarts are shipped in plastic vials, so-called cryotubes, to protect the catalyst from humidity. Special CatCarts, such rainy nickel loaded cartridges, kept under water. We are providing for each CatCart a sodium metabisulfate filled tube, which deactivates the CatCarts if the user don't want to use it anymore. These all benefits made CatCarts to the #1 lab-scale heterogeneous flow catalyst cartridge in the world. But how does a CatCart build up? A stainless steel column closed by polytetrafluoroethylene closing element with high pressure. It is chemical, pressure and temperature resistant up to 150 Celsius degree. The closing rings followed by stainless steel filters with 8 micrometer grit size. This fire is the primary particle size barrier of the cartridge, which provides high flow-through capacity. As a secondary particle size barrier, we are using PTFE filter also, which chemically inert and provides also high flow-through capacity without any pressure drop. And finally, the catalyst bed, which can be heterogeneous or heterogenized. We can provide inner loadings for blank experiments or just to provide effective mixing inside the cartridge without any catalytic contribution. This was the build-up of the 30 and 70 ml long cartridges, which can be used in all instruments of the HQ family and also in the Phoenix flow reactors. We have CatCarts which are able to handle catalysts even microgram scale. These are the so-called micro CatCarts. These cartridges basically the same as the 30 mm long cartridges with two internal spacers providing decreased reaction space. Micro CatCarts are compatible with the same instruments as the 30 or 70 mm long cartridges. For scale-up production, you will need more power and more catalysts. MIDI CatCart has 10 times bigger volume than the 70 mm long CatCarts. It tolerates high flow rates, which makes it able to 10 to 500 gram per day production. This cartridge consists of PTFE separators in order to avoid a high pressure drop. The recommended particle size is between 100 and 800 micrometers. MIDI CatCarts are compatible with HQ MIDI and Phoenix flow reactor system. For elevated temperatures, we apply metal-metal seal columns. In these cartridges, there are no meltable elements, such as PTFE, and can be used in Phoenix flow reactor up to 450 Celsius degree if the catalyst tolerates this temperature. MMS cartridges are refillable and available in different lengths and outer diameters up to 1 inch. And we finish the review of the CatCart build-up. Let's talk about the catalyst selection. How to choose suitable CatCart for your reaction. First of all, you can download the list of our CatCarts. You can find here almost 100 different pre-packed cartridges. We have various supported noble and transition metal supported catalysts, rainy metals, and heterogenized complexes. You can browse our application notes. We have more than 15-year experience in the field of heterogeneous flow catalysis, and we kindly share it with you. Register to our website, select an instrument, and check out our 1-2 pages long summaries. For example, this table shows some basic hydrogenation reactions, the applied catalyst, and reaction parameters too. As you can see, rainy nickel is a great choice for various heterogeneous reactions. Check out our previous webinars. This slide was presented on April in the HQ Pro webinar. It's a nice example how the catalysts affect for the chemoselectivity in continuous flow hydrogenation. In this case, rainy nickel showed the best catalytic performance with 97% selectivity. If you go back to this webinar, you will find examples for cross-coupling and deuteration reactions too. You can download also Catalogue. It consists of plenty of valuable examples which make easier the catalyst selection. In a typical catalyst description, you can find the type and chemical composition of CatCart, its available size and specifications, some chemical examples, and references. In this case, we can see titanium dioxide supported gold CatCart, which can be used in oxidization and hydrogenation reactions. You can find here also the applied ThalesNano instruments and reaction parameters as well. If you need more advice about the catalyst selection, use the Ask the Chemist service of ThalesNano. If you know the way but want to try different catalysts, we can offer the so-called starter kits. Starter kits consist of selected catalysts for hydrogenation reactions. Our most popular starter kit consists of selected 30 mm long CatCarts loaded with classical hydrogenation catalysts. It has a reduced version for the 70 mm long CatCarts too. If you are interested in to try a little bit more exotic catalysts, the specialist kit is yours. If your instrument operating only with 30 mm long cartridges, with this extension you will get a 70 mm long CatCart holder and classic hydrogenation catalyst as well. Maybe you will not find suitable catalysts for your reactions in our catalog. In this case, we have a three-way solution. You can pack your own catalyst by a CarCart Packer. Using this apparatus, you will be able to fill up and close all cartridges. ThalesNano provides one-end sealed empty CatCarts and closing elements with the filter system. There are several interesting peer-reviewed results in the literature where authors use self-packed CatCarts. For example, Kylie Vincent and co-workers from University of Oxford recently published about carbon-supported enzyme-packed cartridges for continuous flow biocatalytic applications. Frank Upton and co-workers from Virginia developed an interesting three-dimensional graphene oxide-based serogel monolith catalyst and tested in Suzuki coupling reactions using CatCarts. The as-prepared catalysts show 300% higher lifetime. Another solution is our CatCart loading service. In this case, we need to investigate the feasibility of your catalyst. In the knowledge of the physical and chemical properties of the given material, we can estimate if it's usable in CatCart technology or not. The consulting is free of charge, of course. After that, we will test your catalyst according to the CatCart quality control protocol. After physical testing, we guarantee that your special CatCart will be compatible with the appropriate ThalesNano instrument. We can also provide chemical validation both in batch conditions and in flow using the selected ThalesNano instrument. We will pack the desired amount of CatCarts and ship to you. Catalyst development needs special infrastructure, special scientific methods, instruments, and expert chemists. We can provide all of them in our catalyst development service. We can fine-tuning of a given catalyst chemical composition, for example the metal content or the support, reproducing novel catalysts according to the literature, or design catalysts according to your needs. Let me summarize today's webinar. CatCarts are packed bed reactors which are dedicated to ThalesNano instruments. We are manufacturing our cartridges according to the ISO 9001 quality management system. For catalyst selection, our application notes and the catalog will help you, and you can get starter kits for extensive experiments. We have 3 custom loading options. The CarCart Packer, what you can use to load your own catalyst. Our custom loading service, where we can load your catalyst. And our catalyst development service. We are working on the first CatCart review, which will summarize the results of the last 15 years. And we are planning to keep the next CatCart webinar 3 months later. If you have any comment or suggestion about the prospective content, feel free to write for us. Alright, let me show you some CatCarts in the real life. This one is the 30mm long CatCart. In the case of the MIDI cart, there are 2 internal PTFE separators inside the cartridge. This is the 70mm long CatCart. As you can see, it's differ only in the size from the 30mm long one. And this big guy is a MIDI cart. As I said before, it has 10 times bigger volume than the 70mm long cartridge. This is a metal sealed column. It's available in different lengths and different outer diameters, up to 1 inch. It can be used in the Phoenix floors. Each CatCart arrives you in these boxes. In this box, you can see some 70mm long and some 30mm long cartridges, and it's the activating solvents. So after you don't want to use anymore the CatCart, just put the cartridge into the solvent and you can keep it safety. How to insert the cartridge into an HQ Pro. Now I show you in the case in the 30mm long CatCart. It's so simple. You can see an arrow on the label. Just put it in, tighten the screw, and your CatCart is ready to use. Before we continue the webinar with the questions and answers section, I would like to share the answers for the most frequent asked ones. What is the production capacity of CatCarts? Well, it depends on many parameters. The most important, the type of the catalyst. The mass of loading, the applied support, active component, and its concentration highly affects for the reaction. Reaction conditions, purity of starting materials, and also determines the production. The micro CatCarts can be loaded around 30 mg catalyst. These CatCarts basically made for microgram scale reactions. 30 mm long CatCarts can be loaded between 100 to 500 mg catalyst, which highly depends on the type of loading. The capacity is circa around 100 mg to few grams. 70 mm long CatCarts can be loaded between 300 to 1500 mg catalyst, also depends on the type of the loading. The capacity can be reached a few dozen grams of product. MIDI card can be loaded from 1 to 15 gram of catalyst. This can be loaded partially with the active component to fine-tuning your scale-up experiments. The capacity can be between 1 gram to 500 gram per day. In the case of metal-metal sealed columns, the size is variable, thus the capacity determines the chosen reactor and its volume. Next common question relates to the deactivation of CatCarts. Is it possible to reactivate? Well, the answer is yes, but depends on the type of the catalyst and the reaction, of course. On this graph, you can see our experiments with palladium charcoal catalyst. As you can see, after 6 runs, the activity decreased. After washed with methanol at high temperature and high hydrogen pressures, we can regain the original activity of the catalyst. And this method also works with rainy nickel as well. But unfortunately, chemical composition of some catalysts not allows the reactivation, for example, the palladium hydroxide. In this case, the hydrogenation obtains zero-valent palladium nanoparticles, and this procedure is irreversible. Some products inhibit the catalyst, for example, if the product is an amine. You can remove the inhibitor with the above method, so the reactivation procedure, or the situation can be avoided using tetrahydrofuran as a co-solvent. If the catalyst is poisoned, for example with metals or sulfur, the process is irreversible, so you cannot reactivate that. Next question, how to start to work with CatCarts. First of all, the cartridge is made for one insertion to the heating block, and after that the sealing elements make a tight connection between the instrument, and the closing element slightly deforms. If you start to work with new CatCarts, you need to consider pre-activation and washing steps. In some cases, the catalyst has high moisture content. If your reaction is water sensitive, it's highly recommended to wash it with water miscible solvent. The pre-activation is the same as the reactivation procedure, which provides the maximum activity of the catalyst, so you need to apply high temperature and high hydrogen pressure to do this. And once you start a reaction with a fresh CatCart, and the instrument, which for example is an HQ Mini Plus, is in stable mode, we recommend it to wait at least 5 minutes before the addition of your starting material, so you need to waiting for the equilibrium. Next question is, what type of reactions can be done on a CatCart? The HQ family basically tailored for hydrogenation reactions such as debenzylations, nitro reductions, lithium reductions, double and triple bond saturations, and ring saturation. Our catalyst loadings are also tailored for these purposes, but you can do various types of chemistries with CatCarts and ThalesNano instruments. For example, cross-couplings, we have various heterogeneous complex catalysts. Ring closing or opening reactions can run even in inert loadings. For gas-type reactions, we also have a few options to maintain oxidization, Fischer-Tropsch, or carbonylation reactions. All right, this is your turn. Don't hesitate to ask anything about CatCarts. Maybe you need warm-up time. Just use the chat window. Don't forget, you can review all of our previous webinars in our website www.ThalesNano.com. If there is no any question in your mind, you can write to the askthechemist@ThalesNano.com and we will answer later. You are welcome. So, if you don't have any questions yet, thank you for your kind attention. So if you have any questions later, feel free to write to the askthechemist@thalesnano.com. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn. And have a nice day. Bye.